Hi, Teresa. Let's take a look at your new essays today. This is the letter. Let's see, it's a job application letter, so let's see what you wrote. You're writing your manager requesting to apply for the advertised position. Okay, so it sounds like it's a semi-formal letter. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Thomas, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing you in concern to the job advertised. I would like to apply for the position. I really have an interest in that position, and I believe I am the perfect candidate for the job. This is mainly because of two reasons. Okay. Now, as I said, it's semi-formal, so it's it's okay that you call him Thomas. This is common in lots of companies, although you might have wanted to be a little more conservative and instead used a last name. So Mr. Thomas or Mr. Jones or whatever, that would have been okay. But what concerns me more than that is some of the choppiness of the language in this first paragraph. It's a lot of short sentences. They don't really flow together. And so what I really want you to focus on is linking some of your sentences and some of your ideas a little more fluently, a little more proficiently. So, now, the first thing is that this is your manager, right? So presumably you probably see this person often. I don't know if this, I hope this letter finds you well, is really so appropriate here. Okay. So I would have gotten rid of this. I probably would have started with this first sentence here that you've got. The second sentence. So, dear Mr. Thomas, I'm writing you with, you know what I recommend a lot? I recommend sometimes that people have just like some set expressions that they can just use in a lot of different circumstances. So one of the ones that I always like is, I am writing you with regard to, and then whatever you're writing with regard to, okay? So, because this is a little strange. I'm writing you in concern to, that's a little strange. So I'm writing you with regard to the job advertised with a D somewhere. I mean, the job hasn't been advertised, so it must be somewhere on the website, in a newspaper, on a telephone pole. I mean, somewhere. Okay, so you must refer to that. So why don't we say, I'm writing you with regard to the job advertised on the company website. All right, you didn't tell us what the position is. I think it would have been nice if you add some details like this. It can just help you, develop it a little better. Maybe show some more vocabulary. We'll see. Because then it just kind of sounds a little unnatural. So I'm writing you with regard, etc., to the job advertised. And I would have just connected these two sentences. And I would like to apply for this position. This is a little awkward here. I really have an interest in that position. I mean, you haven't even referred to it by name. So you can just see that all this sounds a little unnatural. So, I don't know. Let's pretend it's like digital media expert or something, okay? So let's just pretend. I'm writing you with regard to the job advertised in the company website. And I would like to apply for the position of full-time digital media expert. I really have an interest in this position. You see, why don't we get rid of this and then just start with here. I believe I'm the perfect candidate for the job for reasons I will explain below. Okay? Because, look, choppy sentence right here. This is because of two reasons. If you're going to say that you have two reasons, I don't know. It just felt really rather strange to me. So I would have felt a lot better if you had said something like that. I believe I'm the perfect candidate before, and will explain the reasons why below. Okay? So, firstly, during my time in the company, although it is a part-time position, I have acquired experience and know the team. I believe that this will be beneficial in the long term for the company because you won't have to invest money in my training. In addition, I have good relationships with the team members, so it is guaranteed that I will promote the work team. Okay, This was good. I like this. I didn't understand this. I will promote the work team. That didn't really make sense to me as an expression, so I think the word promote is wrong. I suspect that you mean something else. Also, there are a handful of words in IELTS writing that I really don't like seeing. And the reason is because these words are just so basic and like elementary in terms of level that I really think you're doing a disservice to yourself by using them. The words that I'm referring to are good, bad, nice, big, small. Okay, so you said I have good relationships with the team members. It would have been a lot better if you had said solid, or I have strong relationships, or I have excellent relationships. I mean, that would have been a lot better. Okay? All right, so secondly, my intentions are to continue growing in the company and be a great asset for our department. I want to develop my professional skills and enhance, without that D, them. In addition, I want to tell you that I have been taking courses of the new software requirements in order to have a better performance. Okay, so this is also fine. I like this. I want to be a great asset. Okay, but you know what? It's a little bit too much. I want. You're not showing the examiner a good range of vocabulary with words like this. I want. So what I would like to see is maybe find some alternate vocabulary words instead of I want, or maybe just rephrase the sentence a little differently so you don't have this repetition. The reason why I pointed out is because not only is it repetition, but it's repetition of really very basic kind of structures, and so that's what I'd like to see improved. Let me look at it again and see if we can come up with something different, okay? So, secondly, my intentions are to continue growing in the company and be a great asset for our department. I am very eager to develop my professional skills and enhance them. In addition, you may be interested to know that I have been taking courses. What does that mean, of the new software requirements? I've been taking courses in new software. I'm not really sure how to fix this. I'm really not sure. In order to have better performance is okay. It's still a little awkward. In order to perform my job better. Okay? So those are some of the changes I would make there. I hope you consider my application. Now look at this. Consider in the same sentence. So that's really not a great idea. It shows a lack of cohesion and, a lack of vocabulary as well. So let's see if we could, come up with some sort of alternative here as well. I hope you will consider my application. No, let's not keep it like that. Let's keep this consider, but change this one. I hope you will favorably review my application and consider me a suitable candidate for the job. Thank you in advance for your attention. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Best regards. Okay, that's fine. Lowercase r here. The rest of it was fine. So there are some good things happening here. There were a lot of good things. You certainly developed your bullets. Okay, so that was great, and I liked that. I don't have any complaints about that. Task achievement was very good. Your coherence and cohesion as far as organizing your information, that was also fine. You had issues with cohesion as far as lexical cohesion was concerned, like with this, I want, and consider. There was stuff like that that I thought you could have improved. And then there was, these sentences that were awkward. So grammar, vocabulary, both of those areas for me needed a little work. Okay? So, but on the whole, it's a good attempt. So, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Take a look at your task 2. Okay, online communication has become more common. Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated if it has more advantages to work through online communications rather than going directly into the premises of the companies. Some people believe that there are several disadvantages of online communications due to the loss, double S here, of physical contact, But personally, I strongly disagree. This essay will argue the advantages of working through the internet using examples from recent studies and empirical research to demonstrate points and support arguments. Okay. So you're saying that the advantages are more. That was fine. That was clear. So no problems there. You did a good job of rephrasing. There was, again, some awkwardness here as well that I do want to address just a little bit. I want to read it again and we'll try to go through some of that awkwardness. Let's say, experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated if it, no, this was a little awkward for me. That's what it is. Have debated if working, this is a little strange, working through online communications. No. How about we change it? Have debated if online communication for work, or no. Communicating online for work has more advantages than, how about working face to face? Okay. I think that would be better. I know what you're trying to do here. I like that you used the word premises, but it's still a little awkward than going directly into the premises. It's just kind of awkward, and it's not entirely a, you know what you could have said here? Rather than meeting people in person. All right, that would have been a good way to say this. But like I said, it's a little awkward, and it's also not really a faithful rephrasing of the prompt, okay? Let's see, this should have had, like I said before, a double S, not a T. And then I thought the rest of it was fine, okay? So let's keep going. Firstly, in a job environment, although there is ample evidence that losing physical contact with your colleagues can be harmful for improving work relationships, it is also true, with an E here, no TH, that in the globalized world, hold on, what happened here? It is also true that in the globalized world in which we live, now look, since you used the in here, you don't need it at the end of the phrase. All right, you have to pick either one or the other. This makes it more formal, in which we live, or you can make it less formal by saying which we live in, okay, and no in here, but you can't use both ends. Okay. It is more common to work with different team members that are situated in different locations around the world. Globe, you didn't say world, you said globe. In this regard, without online communications, this type of work meeting, no. This type of work meeting could not, because we don't use contractions in IELTS. So without online communications, this type of work meeting could not be accomplished. You don't celebrate a work meeting, you accomplish it, or you carry it out, or could not be arranged, okay, or executed as well would have been a great word here. For instance, Google has implemented a just online meetings policy to conduct, also a great word, conduct all the work meetings, and through this type of meetings, they have implemented a 5-minute break, no S here, in which the assistants can interact with each other to get to know them, not themselves, to get to know them better. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that there is a trend of the big companies to change their way of work by a completely remotely one, taking into consideration all the human aspects needed, such as socialization. Okay. I want to fix a couple of other things. So I said here that this should be get to know them better. This is what I want to change. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that there is a trend among large, because I told you I don't like big, large companies. There is a trend among large companies to change the way they work. Moving towards complete remote work. All right, because this expression is awkward here. It's inaccurate. It's not, natural English. Okay, taking into consideration all the human aspects needed, such as socialization, and then that's fine. Okay. Let me just make sure that this is on topic. You're talking about All right, I want to hold off on looking at task achievement just yet. I want to take a look at the next paragraph and then we'll get into this. Secondly, even though there is a common belief that face-to-face meetings prevent, you need no S here, prevent people, get rid of the, from isolation, it is also true that communicating through the internet increases interaction, get rid of the, with people that live far away. Okay. I thought you kind of said something similar to that up here, working in different locations around the world. All right. For example, a recent study by Harvard University indicates that at least 60% of the people that were in lockdown during the pandemic increased the data of their cell phones in order to be in touch with their relatives. This is largely because they were not, all right, again, we don't use contractions, allowed, ED, to leave the city. So they had, okay, here you want past tense, to communicate through different types of social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. Therefore, situations can be presented where the only viable solution to interact with others is through the internet. All right, this doesn't really feel particularly on topic to me, Teresa. You're talking, the example you used is about talking to your relatives, and that has nothing to do with work. That has nothing to do with online meetings and online communication. So I'm a little confused about this. I'm not really entirely understanding what the central meaning of this paragraph is. So I want to come back to it just as I wanted to come back to that first body paragraph, but let's read your conclusion first. To conclude from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the advantages of online communications outweigh, no ED, by far the disadvantages. In addition, it is predicted by the World Bank that in the near future, there will be an increase in the production of mobile phones due to the high demand. Okay, I think we saw something like this in your last essay as well. I want you to be really careful when you have these kind of thought-provoking predictions. This isn't particularly relevant, okay? There is an increase in mobile phone production. That's not really relevant, and it's like you're going off in a different direction. You're talking about something far too specific. A better conclusion here would have been, in the near future, there will be an increase in online meetings in the workplace. That's it. That's done. I mean, that's far more appropriate than all this about cell phones, okay? So that's one thing. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, this said that face-to-face meetings prevent people from isolation, but people communicating through the internet helps people that live far away. Okay, so fine. But then, like I said, I mean, the rest of this really wasn't relevant. So it's not a very, it's not a paragraph that really tightly relates to what you were asked here. Because like I said, this whole thing was talking about, I mean, look at this. So this whole thing was talking not about workplace meetings, but the lockdown and how, you know, how people socialized and kept in touch with their family and friends. So I really feel like the direction you went into here, it was off topic, okay? You needed to somehow talk about how this made work effective throughout the pandemic, about how, you know, companies that could not function in person because of the pandemic, they didn't shut down because their employees continued to work at home, and through online meetings, things got accomplished. Okay, so going in that direction would have been far more appropriate than all of this. Okay, let's see. I also reread this paragraph a little bit because I wanted to see if it was on topic. It was. I think what you were trying to tell us here was that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, with online meetings, you can't socialize with your colleagues, but if you have this kind of 5-minute break during an online meeting, then this gives you ample time to do that. And so not only does work get done, but people can also socialize, and that's an advantage of these online meetings. So I think this is what you were trying to say. As I said, I did have to read it a second or a third time to really kind of understand what the core message was. That's not something you absolutely want to happen, okay? it's really important that, reading the first sentence of your paragraph, the examiner is able to understand what the paragraph is about. So you need to have, this is why having a really clear topic sentence in the beginning of each paragraph is so important. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of this essay correction. There are some things that I want you to look at, primarily in terms of task achievement and being on topic. And again, this thing about coherence and cohesion, having clear topic sentences. All right, so go ahead, correct these. Let's see more work from you. Keep at it. I know you're working hard, so that's great. Keep at it, okay? Good luck.